Welcome to today's story. This is a tale about Emily, a young woman who thought she was simply going on vacation with her family, only to return to find her car booted in her own driveway. But it wasn't just any mistake, this was the result of a strict and unreasonable parking policy enforced by the HOA. Led by Karen, Emily's vacation quickly turned into a fight for her rights, as she had to deal with unresponsive HOA officials, fines, and frustration. But would she get justice? Stay tuned as we dive into this dramatic tale of overreach, legal battles, and a community's fight for fairness. Where are you tuning in from today? Drop a comment and let me know. Now, let's jump right into the story. Emily sat back in the sun, sipping her drink, with the excitement of a long-awaited vacation filling the air. Her family had finally made it to the happiest place on earth, Disneyland. Their smiles were as bright as the California sun. But everything was about to change in an instant. The phone buzzed in her pocket. It was a message from her mom. "Check your email, Emily. Something weird is going on." A sense of unease washed over her. She pulled out the phone. And within seconds, the flood of messages came pouring in. Each with pictures of her car, booted, parked in her own driveway. "What is this?" Emily mumbled, staring at the photos. The bright orange boot on the front wheel, the glaring yellow sticker with bold black writing, the notice that she had violated HOA parking regulations. And the fine? $68. Not including extra fees. "Mom, my car. It's been booted," Emily exclaimed, her voice rising in frustration. Her mother frowned, trying to remain calm. "What happened? You followed all the rules, didn't you?" "Of course I did. I parked in the driveway like I always do," Emily said, her mind racing. But according to the HOA, the visitor registration expired. They've been cracking down on parking. I didn't even know it had expired. They're ridiculous. "How long until we get back?" her mom asked, concerned. "4 more days. And now we're stuck dealing with this from here. The HOA won't even answer my calls." Emily's hands shook as she typed another message to Karen, the HOA president. Emily stared at the email from the HOA that had popped up on her screen. The subject line read, "Important Parking Regulation Update." She clicked it open, dreading the fine print. The HOA, under Karen's leadership, had recently issued a new set of rules, including a strict limit on visitor parking registration, just 14 days per month. Emily hadn't thought much of it when the message came through weeks ago. After all, she was just visiting her parents in their own driveway. As Emily scrolled through the new parking guidelines, her heart sank. The fine print stated that any vehicle not registered for visitor parking for more than 14 days could be ticketed, booted, or even towed. Why wasn't this mentioned more clearly? She muttered. It didn't help that Emily's visitor registration had expired right before they left for vacation, leaving her car vulnerable to the HOA's new crackdown. She pulled up the HOA's website, hoping to see some leniency or an appeal process. But when she tried to call, she was met with an endless loop of voicemail prompts, each more impersonal than the last. Frustrated, she texted Karen directly. "Karen? My car is booted in my own driveway, and I just found out about the new parking rules. Can you help?" A few moments passed, and finally, Karen responded with a terse message, "The rules are the rules. Emily, You should have made sure your registration was up to date. Call the towing company for assistance. Emily couldn't believe her eyes. The rules were supposed to help maintain order, not ruin her vacation. She slammed her phone down in disbelief, feeling as if the HOA had it out for her. The more she thought about it, the more it felt like a money grab, a system set up to punish the residents rather than help them. Unbelievable. Emily muttered under her breath. It's my own driveway. I'm paying for this place. And they boot my car. And Karen thinks it's fine. The next morning, Emily and her family found themselves trapped in a frustrating loop of emails and phone calls. They were on vacation, far from home. But the boot on Emily's car was the only thing on her mind. The calls to the HOA office went unanswered. The voicemails full. And every email sent into the abyss with no response. Emily felt completely helpless. Why aren't they answering us? Her mom asked, pacing around their hotel room. This is insane. Emily shot her a look, frustration bubbling inside her. I don't know. It's like they don't care. They've had hours to get back to me. And nothing. I've been emailing Karen directly. But she's just been sending automated responses telling me to deal with the towing company. I don't get it. Her dad said from the couch, reading through the emails. You're in your own driveway. This shouldn't be happening. There has to be something we can do. Emily's mind raced. The boot had already cost them time, money, and peace of mind. Her vacation, meant to be a break from the usual stress, had turned into a nightmare. I'm done waiting, she said. Determined. I'm taking this to social media. If they won't listen to me directly, maybe the whole neighborhood needs to know. Within minutes, Emily posted a rant about the booting incident on her Facebook page. She included a picture of her car with the bright orange boot and the fine details. This is what happens when you park in your own driveway in Pembroke Shores. #HomeS #Karen Theo President. To her surprise, the response was overwhelming. Other residents quickly chimed in. Some with similar stories of booted cars. Others who had paid fines. And a few even sharing their frustration about Karen's unresponsiveness. Emily's post went viral within the community. Comments flooded in, all calling out the HOA for being unreasonable. Same thing happened to me last month. They booted my car in my own driveway. One neighbor commented, had to pay $68 to get my boot removed last week. No refund yet either. It's a scam. Wrote another. Emily's phone buzzed non-stop with notifications. She felt both relieved and angry at the same time. She wasn't alone in this. But the HOA wasn't backing down. The mounting pressure on Karen was palpable. Emily knew the only way she'd get answers now was to continue pushing back. Just as Emily was about to post an update, her phone rang. It was the towing company. Hello. Is this Emily? A stern voice asked. Yes. Emily replied, feeling a surge of determination. I'm calling about the boot on my car. I want to know why I was ticketed when my car was parked in my driveway. And I want a refund. Now. As the situation escalated, Emily began to seek help from anyone who might be able to shine a light on the legal side of things. After hearing several horror stories from her neighbors, she decided to take matters into her own hands and contact an attorney who specialized in HOA law. A few calls later, Emily was connected with Sarah Allen, a seasoned attorney known for her expertise in defending residents against HOA overreach. Hello. Is this Emily? Sarah's voice came through on the other end of the line. Calm and reassuring. Yes. This is Emily. Thank you so much for speaking with me. Emily replied, feeling a wave of relief. I really need some legal advice. My HOA booted my car in my own driveway. And now they're demanding a fine. I don't think they even have the right to do this. Sarah listened intently, taking notes. You're right to be concerned. From what you're telling me, it sounds like the HOA has overstepped its legal boundaries. Under the law, homeowners have the right to park in their own driveways without fear of unreasonable penalties. Booting cars in private driveways is excessive, especially without a formal warning or due process. But they just slapped this fine on me without any kind of notice, Emily said, her voice rising. I didn't even know the new rules had been enforced until I came back from vacation. I'm just a visitor here. And they're punishing me like this. I understand your frustration, Sarah said, her voice firm. And it's not just about the booting. Charging fines for parking in your own driveway without a proper procedure violates your rights as a resident. The HOA must give residents a clear warning and an opportunity to appeal before taking such extreme actions. Emily clenched her fists, her anger starting to bubble up again. So, they can't just do this. They can't just take my money without reason. No. They can't. The HOA has certain powers. But they must follow specific procedures and adhere to state laws. Sarah explained. You're not just dealing with a small issue here. The HOA's actions go beyond what's allowed. I can help you challenge this, both the fine and the booting. You have legal recourse. Emily felt a surge of hope. For the first time, she felt like she wasn't powerless. What do we do now? How can we stop them from getting away with this? Sarah paused for a moment. Then said, we'll start by sending a formal letter to the HOA, detailing your legal rights, and demanding the removal of the fine. If they don't respond, we can take them to court. We'll make sure they know that you won't just sit back and let them violate your rights. Emily smiled for the first time in days. She wasn't just going to roll over. She had an attorney on her side now. And the fight was just beginning. It took a few more days. But Emily's persistence, along with the mounting pressure from social media, and the legal letter sent by Sarah, finally paid off. The boot on her car was removed. And the towing company sent a brief, almost impersonal message saying the situation had been resolved. But Emily wasn't ready to let it go just yet. A few days later, Karen, the HOA president, finally responded to the mounting complaints with a formal letter that was sent to all the residents. The letter arrived in Emily's inbox with the subject line, Apology and resolution regarding recent parking enforcement issues. Emily clicked it open, ready for whatever excuse Karen would try to offer this time. The letter started with a standard apology for the confusion surrounding the parking regulations and the booting incidents. It claimed that the issue had been with the lot monitoring company hired by the HOA, which had made errors in enforcing the new rules. Karen wrote, "We deeply regret the inconvenience caused by the improper enforcement of parking restrictions. And we have taken steps to ensure this doesn't happen again. All fines will be refunded. And the appropriate adjustments have been made to the parking enforcement process. Refunds. That's what they're offering." After all this, Emily muttered under her breath as she scanned the rest of the letter. It seemed like a well-written attempt to sweep everything under the rug. The letter went on to explain that the new parking rules would be simplified for better clarity, and that residents would no longer have to worry about unfair penalties. Karen also emphasized that she personally oversaw the correction of the lot monitoring practices. But despite the apology, the residents were far from satisfied. Emily could hear the dissatisfaction in the comments from neighbors as they shared the letter online. Refunds. Too little. Too late. One neighbor commented. Karen's still trying to cover up what happened. I'm not buying this apology. We paid fines. Some of us multiple times. And now they want us to just forget about it. Another neighbor posted. Emily wasn't surprised. She knew many of her neighbors still felt like this whole fiasco was a money grab. They'd paid fines, dealt with the embarrassment and inconvenience of having their cars booted in their own driveways. And now they were expected to trust the HOA again. She didn't think so. The trust was broken. And while Karen's letter might have been an attempt to save face, it was clear that the damage had already been done. For Emily and many other residents, the fight wasn't over. The money might have been refunded, but the respect for the HOA, especially Karen's leadership, had evaporated. As Emily sat back in her living room, she reflected on the whole ordeal. This isn't over. Not by a long shot, she thought. And I'm not going to let them get away with treating us like this again. What do you think about Emily's situation? Have you ever experienced something similar with an HOA? Or perhaps seen a similar overreach in your community? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment below and let us know what you think about Karen's actions and how Emily handled it. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on more drama, twists, and real-life HOA battles. Stay tuned for more stories coming your way.